IGN just did a really great interview with Shigeru Miyamoto. I will link to the article in the description of this video. And he had a lot of really good stuff to say about Pikmin. I mean, obviously, anytime Miyamoto pipes up about Pikmin at all, like us Pikmin fans, we're on the edge of our seats here. It's just like every little tidbit we can possibly get, any goings on in the behind the scenes world of Pikmin and where it may be going and when we might get the next game. Like, of course, we're paying attention. And he had stuff to say about Pikmin as a brand, as an intellectual property. And I am going to read some of the quotes and then say things about them. I hope that's okay. So he starts off by just talking about how he's been trying to grow the Pikmin brand. He says, I spent a lot of time in the past 5-6 years really wanting to grow Pikmin. That is funny. That is funny. It's kind of a pun. Anyway, obviously, a lot of that is focused around Pikmin Bloom, and there was also new Pikmin titles that released, but I wanted to see if there's other ways that we can have people engage and get to know Pikmin that's outside of the population that plays video games, for example. And I'm gonna jump around here to gather some of the particular bits together. Later he says, I think Pikmin has a lot of potential to be used in many different occasions. When you're looking at small kids, they have a certain appeal for things that are cute, and when they grow older, maybe in their 20s, they start to lose appeal for that. But I think Pikmin has this unique ability to have appeal across a broad range in that it's still appealing for both younger audiences and older audiences in Japan. I'll start off by saying, I don't know how accurate that is anymore. I think to a degree, he may be right that, as you grow older, you may, when you leave like absolute childhood, your tastes may change a little. However, I don't know, looking around me, even just looking at my own life, I think a lot of us gamers, we don't really grow out of it anymore. I think there was once a time, you'd be like playing cowboys and then and have a teddy bear and then you'd grow up and you wouldn't anymore. But we just never grew up. That's just not what happened to our generation. As each generation goes, like we are more and more comfortable with not ever letting go of like the cute childhood stuff. So that's a little bit funny. But really, the point he's trying to say is like, he wants to grow Pikmin. And obviously that is awesome to hear. Obviously it's awesome to hear. I really love Pikmin. And Miyamoto has always had really, really grand ambitions for Pikmin. Again, I bring it up that when Pikmin first launched, he basically expected it to be the next Mario. Like, he had absolute faith that Pikmin was like the next big thing. And, it didn't really end up being true. Pikmin has never sold super duper well, which is a shame because it really does seem like it should have pretty good appeal. I don't know, like, I don't want to launch into the whole entire thing of like whether or not it could have appeal if handled the right way. Because it is still very, like, weird. You know what I mean? I think there may be a level of weirdness to it, that it may be too weird for, like, a really broad audience. And he's talking about expanding it beyond the video games. I like the idea of Pikmin-related stuff, merchandise or whatever. For the most part, I just want the games. Like, for the most part, if I had to pick one thing, I'd just say, like, I just want more games. And if Pikmin did become more broadly appealing or if it expanded outside of the games and that created new fans, if that could then lead to new games, then like, yeah, all right, absolutely. I will admit that unfortunately, I do not have as much faith in Pikmin as he does, which is a little bit weird. That's not really how these things go. Usually it's, the executives, the people who have to make these decisions, they have to look at things in a little bit more of a like calculated way, whereas the fans can just be like, I don't even care, just yes, gimme. Like we just have this like, absolutely, I think it's, I think you should make 100 of them because then they'll all sell 1 trillion copies. I don't care. Like, just give me the Pikmin. So it's a little bit funny to hear him so confident in it. I'm not as confident. I wish I were, but I think Pikmin 4, I don't know. I kind of feel like if Pikmin was gonna blow up, it would have been with Pikmin 4 because Nintendo marketed that game really, really well. They really did. You know, like there have been plenty of games, you know, in struggling series that have come and gone, and we look at all the, oh, like it would have been better if it released on a different system. It was released on a struggling system, or it didn't get marketed properly, or it was too close to this other game. Just like there's a million reasons why a game might not do well, or why we may tell ourselves why a game didn't do well. But with Pikmin 4, they did everything right. You know, they released it on a really, really popular system at a time when that system was still very popular. Games were selling really well on it. They marketed the heck out of it. They made it, like, gameplay-wise, I feel like they made it just about as broadly appealing as they possibly could. You know, like, they streamlined it so well. They sanded off the rough edges in every way possible. Like, I don't know if it's possible to make a Pikmin game that is more approachable than Pikmin 4. And they marketed it well, and it came out on a good system. And it still only sold, like, well. You know, for a Pikmin game, it sold well. I'm sure it was profitable. But, like, you know, Luigi's Mansion still sold, like, 4 times as much. You know what I mean? Like, it still didn't blow up. If it was gonna blow up, that would have been it. And eventually, when it comes to a, you know, a game or series or an IP or whatever, you kind of reach a point where it's like, you start to see the hard limitations of a thing's appeal. You start to see the sad reality that with anything, with any kind of thing, any piece of media, there is a limited number of people, of human beings in the world that it will appeal to. It's just the fact of the matter. Everybody has stuff that they like, and different things appeal to different amounts of people. So I don't know, when you give a game like Pikmin 4 that good of a chance, that's kind of like the measure. It's kind of like the measure of how well it can do, and that's not to say that it couldn't grow in the future. Obviously, new gamers are always coming around, and you know, people will try things they haven't tried before. It could still grow. I could, especially if they keep nurturing it. Again, sort of like, could you put a pun in there? Like grow, you know, nurturing, watering it, making really good games, advertising it to people outside of the games, like Miyamoto is talking about here. Yes. But I don't see it like really blowing up. I don't see it being anything like Mario anytime soon. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing to see, or to feel that way. However, I still like that he has so much confidence, because he could have looked at that. He could have looked at the sales of the first game and just went like, oh, I guess I was wrong. No, I was wrong. Pikmin does not appeal to enough people. I'm not going to make any more. But Nintendo has been making Pikmin games. Sure, there have been decently large gaps between some of them, but they're still making them. They did Pikmin 4, and Miyamoto has been actively trying to grow the series. He just loves it. And I love that about him, because I also love Pikmin. I love that he is just that passionate about it. So even if I'm a little bit doubtful that it could get big, I just love the idea that he loves it so much. And again, of course, because that, for me at least, could mean more games, and then that's what I want to see. Moving on, though, it's funny, like, we've got the real point to this video, the thing that's probably going to be in, like, the title and the thumbnail. We're still not even there yet, and I've got another thing to say first, which is really interesting, a really fun little insight. He mentions a presentation they did 20 years ago, where it starts off and there's a Pikmin next to you. So the Pikmin has got kind of a meta element to it, and he says, and so in Nintendo, there's sort of like an unwritten rule. Mario needs to stay in the Mario universe, or Splatoon needs to stay in Splatoon, and we don't use different characters in the same place. But Pikmin has this kind of unwritten rule where they're okay to appear with other characters. That is fascinating. I really like that. It's not something that we have seen a lot, little bits. You know, obviously in the Mario movie, there was that little, like, it was just a statue, so I guess really that was just an Easter egg more than anything. But yeah, there's a bit of an idea that, like, oh, like, maybe Pikmin are real, you know, maybe they're in the real world. Like, Pikmin takes place on basically our planet. It's like a version of our planet that is not the real one, unless someday they do reveal that this is all happening and the humans just aren't around at the moment. I really don't. That doesn't make any sense. But whatever. I don't. Just it's Pikmin. They're very small, so it is very fitting that you could imagine that Pikmin kind of could be anywhere. And they've like sort of toyed with this idea. We haven't seen it in like the games. You know, we haven't seen a Mario game where you find a Pikmin. Super Nintendo World. There's another one. There's like Pikmin like hidden everywhere. So I don't know if they like have plans to start doing like actual crossover stuff. If they did, I would buy every Nintendo game ever, even the ones that I don't care about. If you start putting random Pikmin in places, I will scour every game world you ever create looking for the Pikmin. So anyway, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Like hearing from Miyamoto himself that there's kind of an unwritten rule at Nintendo that Pikmin is like their one series that kind of can, in theory, cross over into other worlds. And I like that. I don't know if that's gonna is that gonna tie into like the canon of like the Pikmin universe? They're gonna start going to other universes? Is this like a Fraggle Rock thing? Is this like Fraggle holes? Are there like dimensional portals where you could see Pikmin like pop up anywhere? I'd certainly enjoy that. But I suppose I should move on from that as well and get to the real point, the real like headline grabby part. He's talking about the appeal of the series and potentially appealing to a lot of people. And at the end, he says, and this is all in response to the question of like, will Pikmin, potentially expand out into other forms of media, like Mario has. He says, and so I'm hoping that we can expand that globally. So whether it's some kind of a movie or show, things like that would be really fun. And, okay, so I know what he's saying. He's speaking purely hypothetically. He's just saying that he, personally, not necessarily Nintendo as a company, he likes the idea. He would like that if the opportunity arose, if it seemed like a good decision to make, for example, a Pikmin movie. Or show. Or movie, then that would be fun. He'd like it. That's not to say that it's in the cards right now. And again, I personally don't have like a lot of hope that it's ever really gonna happen. I mean, there are other Nintendo IPs that are quite a bit more popular than Pikmin, and even those I still think are just probably not very likely candidates for something like a movie where, I've talked about it before. There's got to be a pretty wide appeal if you expect people to actually show up to the theater and for the movie to make money. You just said it though. Like, that's the thing. You can't just say stuff like that. You can't just casually mention the idea of a Pikmin movie and expect someone like me to be normal about it. It's funny. Kane sent me the article, and we were laughing about it. He was saying it would be like if Miyazaki was like, "Oh yeah, I'd like to do a Bloodborne movie." Like one, it'd be not like, you can't just say stuff like that. you can't just plant ideas like that in our heads. You can't say that combination of words until you are ready to make good. Until the movie is like coming, until it's like right in front of me, until I'm looking at a trailer. You can't even say the words Pikmin movie. That's messed up. Because you know what? I don't know if you could have guessed, but I agree. I agree that a movie or show would be, quote, really fun. I could think of some other words. I could think of a lot of other words, descriptive words, but sure, let's go with really fun. Oh man. Okay, so I guess really that's it. Ultimately, the point of the video, I guess like more on the surface, it's just kind of addressing the fact that Miyamoto said anything about the idea of a Pikmin movie. But the other stuff was really great too. I mean, obviously, the entire talk just about Pikmin as an IP, where it might go, how he still really wants to do stuff with it. It is all very, very exciting, and I've said it before, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up exactly, but I really do imagine that they might give us Pikmin 5 sometime in the not too distant future. I don't know, it kind of seems like the series went dormant for a while after Pikmin 3. obviously there was all the weirdness with Pikmin 4. I do think it's possible that they had to restart development at some point, and that's why it took so long. But between Pikmin 4 and Pikmin Bloom, it seems that for whatever reason, Miyamoto just I don't know, he got back on the Pikmin train, and he's specifically saying here that for the last 5 or 6 years, he has been actively trying to grow it. And so, he may still be doing that. If he's still talking that way, that would suggest that he is still doing things with it. And why would that not mean a new one? You've built a new game. You now have a new foundation upon which you can build new experiences. 4 really was a great, it was a great evolution of the series, but in that way, it kind of acted as a really good starting point for just kind of a new era of Pikmin games, and I could absolutely see them rolling with that and giving us a Pikmin game on Switch 2 pretty soon. Definitely getting my hopes up. I don't know. Even just, yeah, I'll admit it, I am. A little bit. At least a little. Standard practice up till now has been 9 or 10 years between games. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's that. I love you. Bye.